So sometimes I need to verbally process stuff. And tonight I'm going to do that here on a live. Because I think this idea is so important. I was just scrolling Facebook and was reading a post by my dear friend Jessica, who has this gloriously beautiful hair that's been her identity, or part of her identity, her whole life. And she's talking about what the experience of having to cut it because she's going through cancer treatments right now. And she handled it beautifully with all of the emotions, and it got me thinking about how we all have our things. We all have these things that are part of our identity. I've had tendonitis or something for the last couple of months, so I haven't been able to climb. And that's a big part of my identity. That's the thing that I do for exercise, for meditation, for my social life. I'm a person who feels like I need to be contributing and like giving to other people. I like being the one that's has the right thing to say, or has good advice, or can make people feel loved. That's a really important part of my identity. And so I was thinking, all these things aren't me. There are things I identify with, but if those things were taken away, if I could never climb again, if, motherhood, if my kids were gone in some horrible accident someday or something, if, I lost my ability to speak and write, I would still be me. And so it made me think I feel like I've spent probably the last couple of years really diving into this, really trying to understand who I am, and the ability to live without these things that we attach as our identity has got to be a superpower, and I've been thinking about what would happen because we're still a ball of energy, right? No matter what happens to us, if we're still living, we still exist. We aren't any of the things that we do, or how we look, or the friends that we have, or the things that we enjoy, or even necessarily the thoughts in our head, because those change too. But what I have come to find, and what I think is so powerful for me in my life, is getting to this place where I feel like, and granted this hasn't been tested, I'm not being treated for cancer, I haven't lost my kids, but I feel like no matter what happens in life, I know that I can adjust, and I can move on, and I can adapt. And that feels like my greatest life accomplishment. And that makes it sound like it would be easy, oh, I don't have kids anymore, no big deal. I mean, of course, emotion and dealing and experiencing and grief is all part of the human experience. And I think that's why I was so struck by Jess's experience, because she's in it fully. It's not like she's come to terms with, oh, I just don't have hair anymore, no big deal, right? That's traumatic, and she's feeling it, and it's a loss, and it's grief. And I think that is part of being human, and yet we still exist. I don't want to be so attached to any part of my identity that I cease to exist without it. So anyway, who are you? Who are you if you're not the things that you think you are, right? Okay, that's my verbal processing for tonight, I think. So thanks for watching it.